in the normal conversation with the average folks here in Chicago and in the Midwest, most of them get it. Most of them understand that you can't defend yourselves by building higher walls with and closing all the gates and having more guns at your border, because what's happening economically, what's happening in terms of health and climate, in terms of migration patterns that come with it, means that if the problems over there aren't addressed, they're inevitably going to come over here. In some ways, the pandemic has helped. In an unfortunate way. It's like oxygen. You don't know how much you miss it until it's no longer there, right? And so the pandemic and the fact that we are related to the rest of the world brought home to people that we need to be engaged to deal with the problems that are abroad in order to defend ourselves at home. We've just seen this, I think, with vaccines. Yes, it was very important for Americans to get the vaccines that are being produced here as quickly as possible. But increasingly, people are understanding that vaccinating the rest of the world is important, so no new variants will emerge that can defeat the vaccines that we're relying on to go back to our normal life. So we need to vaccinate the rest of the world.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting that for all of the politicization of things like U.S. dues to the United Nations and support for NATO, there was no pushback from either side of the political spectrum in the U.S. when Biden announced that 500 million vaccines were going to be donated to poor countries around the world. And that clearly is a reason for optimism.
Yeah, no, I think so. And the Chicago Council of Global Affairs, we've been doing opinion polling for almost 50 years to ask Americans what they think about America's role in the world. And that polling has consistently demonstrated that on the question of whether the United States should play an active role in world affairs or stay out of world affairs, 2/3 of Americans think we should play an active role. Now, you can then define what that active role means, and we've tried to do that. But in almost every way, Americans understand that being involved in the world is no longer just a luxury. It's something we have to do for our own national interest. And that's how you got to sell this. That's why a foreign policy for the middle class is actually a pretty good slogan when you think about it, because it's trying to sell engagement, being part of the world, solving problems together with your friends and partners around the world as a means to helping you achieve what you want every day, which is to have a good job that pays enough to take care of your family, that gives you a house and a roof over your head.